Regrets. I'm Andy Stanley, and I'll be your guide. And today we're talking about the stories we tell ourselves about ourselves, our narratives. Remember your high school narrative? My parents are such idiots. School's such a waste of time. And then you grew up and you realize my parents aren't idiots, and school was definitely not a waste of time. But as adults, we tell ourselves similar things. They don't care. It doesn't matter. It won't make any difference. Or how about this one? I don't do exercise, right? The problem with these narratives is that they become excuses and they set us up to become our own worst enemies. So let's stop with all the false narratives. And today I'll tell you how right here on Your Move. Isn't it strange? I don't know if you ever think about this, but because I have to talk all the time, I have to think of things people aren't thinking about so I can make you think about it. So I'll have something to talk about. That's kind of my life, basically. But isn't it strange how we talk to ourselves? Because we all do this, right? We have conversations with ourselves. It's like there's two of us in there, sometimes three. If you have four, I don't really want to meet you. But anyway, these conversations that we have with ourselves, eventually we get down to this really, really big question that we all wrestle with. And this question is why? And here's what we do. Something happens and we think, why did that happen? Then we go to work trying to figure out why it happened. And why did this happen? Why did that happen? Why did this happen rather than that? And this is what I thought would happen, but this happened. And you can't help it. This is so human nature. We have this extraordinary habit, this inclination to impose a reason on randomness. We impose a reason on it. Something happens that doesn't make sense, and our minds just go to work trying to make sense out of randomness. And what we do is we create a narrative. We create our own narrative to make sense of things, right? We create a narrative to make sense of things. In fact, the worse the incident and the more personal the incident, the harder you work and the harder I work to make sense out of that. Because what's undeniable, regardless of your worldview, what's undeniable is that we create and often abide by our self-imposed narratives, whether they are accurate or not, whether they reflect reality or not. And this can be a problem. This can be a problem. In fact, this can lead you, as you have already experienced in your life. This isn't going to be new. I'm just going to put words around something you've already experienced. This can lead you to become your own worst enemy. So today we are in part 2 of our series. If you were here last time, you already know this, how not to be your own worst enemy. Now,
and welcome to Counsel of the Day with Shanrae, and I am Shanrae. Okay, so this is week 2 of my third quarter sessions. This is week 2, part 2. And this week, all month, I'll be talking about bad habits and how to kind of curb them and to replace them with better habits. And so this week, last night, because I have new days, Sunday and Monday, due to my work schedule. This week, I've been talking about the science behind bad habits. And so we're going to be talking on part 2. So let's move this along because this 30 minutes is going to go by very quickly. I am a degree counselor, and I acquired my degrees from Ashford University. I'm going to skip my bio. Okay, let's open up with my website, the website counseling disclaimer. Please be advised that due to the nature of the technology I'm using, that there can be no assurance of confidentiality when using this online service. Should also be noted that due to changes in policies, that all replies are to be used as advisory and informational only, and will not constitute an official determination. Information provided by myself or other counselors or counseling services are subject to the limitations of current and available material, but the final responsibility for successfully achieving a goal rests with you, the individual. Information online is designed to be helpful. However, this information does change frequently, and it is recommended that clients or individuals will consult another physician, another specialist, or religious leader to aid you in your overall behavioral wellness. Okay, so I am a Christian counselor. So let me open this up a little bit. All right, and let me close it. So the scripture for the month that I've chosen, it comes from Philippians 4:13. It says that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Good evening, Virginia. And good evening, CJ. Because I'm on 3 different platforms. I'm on YouTube, Twitter, and good evening, CJ. and and Facebook. Okay, so the definitions. Let's move on to the definitions because I have a lot to cover tonight. And I want to do this in my 30-minute period. This is the science. Again, the topic for last night and tonight is the science behind bad habits. All right. So again, I do definitions, and the definitions that I chose for habit is a settled or regular tendency or practice, especially one that is hard to give up. All right. And the definition that I chose for science is a systemically organized body of knowledge on a particular subject. All right. So let's move on to our key points. Let me open this up and then I'm going to close it a little bit. These are our key points for tonight. And again, give me a minute. This is an open platform. I say this every time I come on. This is an open platform. So if you have any questions, or if you don't mind sharing any life scenarios, I will pause and give light to your question or your life situation. So tonight's key points are: we're going to be talking about a list of humanity's most common bad habits. We all have them. Nobody is exempt. 10 of the most common bad habits related to food and drinks, bad habits related to bad hygiene, bad habits related to personal habits, bad habits related to entertainment and technology, bad habits related to poor communication and relationships, bad habits containing the bad household and financial circumstances, and school related bad habits as well. So let's go on and get started because again, this is a 30-minute platform. All right, so let's move this along. I want you to see this, and I'm going to open and close it. It says a list of the most common bad habits. All right. So there is no shortage of bad habits in human behavior. There is absolutely none. So whether we're looking for a list of bad habits to help develop a character in a story, or you're just wondering what some of the most common bad habits are, we might be surprised by some of the items that's on this list as far as bad habits are concerned. Tonight, I just wanted to just do an overview of bad habits in the different scenarios because a lot of times sometimes we may have some bad habits and don't even realize that they're bad habits. Okay. But life, this is just human behavior, period. Life is about learning, growing, overcoming, and living the best life that we can live. And so this is why I stop and I give back, and I do this as a counselor every 4 times a year, and I do it every 3 months. I dedicate 1 month every 3 months to a certain topic. So let's move this along to our first set of bad habits. Let me open this up. It says 10 of the most common bad habits. All right, so let's talk about this. So while there are many bad habits out there, a few seem to be really common, and this is particularly true with habits that impact your health and your health negatively. So study habits are another key area. All right. So let's move this on. I'm going to be talking and moving this along my PowerPoint so y'all can see. The 10 of the most common bad habits. Let's start out with this. Number 1 is allowing yourself to get distracted from what you should be doing. I think we all have this is something we've all have experienced in our life. Cramming for exams the night before, excessive alcohol consumptions, failing to go to the dentist for regular cleanings and checkups, failing to protect your skin against harm from the sun. That's me. Okay. And a lot of times we people of color do this because we feel like we have melanin. So I have to remember to protect my skin. Another one is following a regular sleep schedule. I'm a New Yorker, guys. That is me. Well, they say New York never sleeps. I mean, we up all night like vampires and want to sleep during the daytime. That is a very, very bad irregular sleep pattern. Ignoring physical symptoms of potential health problems. A lot of people do this because they're afraid to find out that something is going to go wrong. A lot of times, and when you wait, that's when things really go wrong. But most things are repairable. Most things can be fixed. Okay. Regular carrying a heavy bag on the same shoulder. That is me. Okay, a woman, we carry pocketbooks. I carry pocket. My pocketbook feels like a brick because I got everything in it but the kitchen sink, and I carry it on the same shoulder, which causes shoulder aches, back aches, neck aches, all of that. Um, Sitting for long periods of time, depending on your work schedule, there's going to be a lot of sitting. I sit on my job. I work in the evenings, so I sit on my job. But thank God for my Apple Watch. My Apple Watch will remind me, will tell me it's time to stand. And while I'm working, I will stand up and I will maybe just walk around for a little bit. And so I'm so grateful for my Apple Watch because that reminds me to stand and start moving, start doing some circulation. Skipping meals in an effort to lose weight. That's something that I've done too. Smoking cigarettes. There are a lot of people that do that. That's not an uncommon habit. That is something that people do. All right, so let's move on to number one. Let's open this up. Number one, bad habits related to food and drink. Okay, so let's get started with this. It says, of course, those that are just a few common bad habits that I mentioned above. There are many others. The more bad habits a person has, the greater the impact on their health. So many bad habits are related to diet. Okay, let me see if anyone has said anything. So I'm so glad to see CJ. This is my second week, and because I changed my schedule, I know a lot of people have to catch up with the schedule that I'm on. But so glad to see you, CJ. So glad to see you, Miss Virginia. Okay, so number one for this is binge eating. Number two is consuming caffeine during the evening hours. I used to do that when I was a student because I worked two jobs and was a full-time student, full-time wife, full-time mother. And so that's when I started drinking a lot of coffee. I used to consume like eight to 10 cups of coffee a day. And I would drink it at night because I needed to stay up and study. But I don't do that anymore. I do one cup of coffee a day, one a day. All right. Consuming too much salt. Consuming too much sugar. Woo. Dipping a chip or cracker back into communal salsa or dip after taking a bite. That double dip. Okay, that is a bad habit. That double dip. Drinking too many high sugar beverages. Let me move this along because I know it's two of these. Eating fast food. Eating food that has been open for too long. Oh my gosh. Eating too many carbohydrates, eating too much food, period. Eating too much red meat, eating too quickly. When a lot of times when you have a busy schedule, you people eat fast, and that's not good. It's hard to digest your food when you eat fast, and I've been guilty of that too, being on a schedule, a very hectic schedule. Um, Eating very large meals in a single setting, eating with your mouth open, failing to eat enough fruits and vegetables, not eating enough carbohydrates, not eating enough food, period. Skipping breakfast, that's me, guilty. Skipping breakfast, slurping soup. I don't do that. Snacking before bed, that's me. Okay. Stress eating, I found out. I said it last night. I found out I'm a gastric bypass patient almost 20 years out. And I had to go back then when I got approved for my surgery. I had to go through a whole year of training before they approved me for the surgery. I found out then during my training that I was a stress eater, and I still battle with that too, a stress eating and yo-yo dieting. So this is bringing out, and let me open this up again so y'all can see what I'm talking about. Number one, bad habits that's related to food and drinks. Okay, let's move this on. Okay, bad habit. We're still on number one. Let me move to number two. I got a lot of slides, but we're going to be moving quick. All right, number two, bad hygiene habits. Okay. I don't know too many people that's like this, but this is some things that some people deal with. So it says hygiene is another key area where bad habits can creep into everyday life. Number one, coughing without covering your mouth. That's a pet peeve of mine. Oh my God. Being around somebody that's coughing and they're not covering their mouths, they're not doing that. You know, we're not, we don't want to contract what you got. Okay. Failing to dry your hands after washing them. Okay. I didn't realize that was a bad habit, but okay. Failing to floss your teeth. Wow. Failing to use soap when washing your hands. Okay. Failing to wash your hands frequently enough, not bathing frequently enough. Wow. Okay, not brushing your teeth, not properly disinfecting or cleaning contact lenses. Oh wow. Picking your nose. We see we've all seen people do that. Okay. Again, I'm just covering a whole category of bad habits, and then I'm going to jump right back into combating them. Okay, whatever bad habit that someone may be. And again, if there's a bad habit that you're living with that's actually affecting your social life or your health or something, I'm telling you, there is nothing too hard. I can do all things. I can do all things. Okay, we can turn it around. We can replace it with something better. So let me finish going. Not properly disinfecting or cleaning contact lenses. Let me move down. Picking your teeth when other people are around. Preparing food without tying back long hair. Oh yeah, that's one definitely. Reusing towels too many times. Oh yeah. Sleeping in your contact lenses, sleeping with your makeup on, sneezing without turning away from others and covering your nose, spending less than 20 seconds washing your hands, using a worn out toothbrush. Wow. Wearing the same clothing several days in a row. Okay, so that is talking about bad hygiene habits. Okay, so we're going to move this on. I know I got a couple of these that, okay, now let's move on to number 3. Number 3 says personal habits that are problematic. Okay. All right. So this says a lot of bad personal habits are examples of vices that are bad for you or problematic for other people. So number 1, it says being disorganized. There's being too sedentary, like you just too laid back. Okay. Biting your fingernails. That is definitely a nervous condition. Biting your fingernails. Cracking your joints. I grew up where I used to crack my knuckles. I don't do it anymore, but that was a thing growing up where, if you crack your knuckles. So that is a bad habit. Drinking and driving. We know that that's not only a bad habit, that's illegal. If you're talking about alcoholic beverages, let me look to see if anyone is saying anything. Yeah, if it's alcoholic beverages, yes, we know that's not only a bad habit, that's illegal. Driving too fast. Okay, again, I'm a New Yorker, and that's something that New Yorkers do. Drive too fast. But I now live in Georgia, and so I have learned how to just drive the speed limit. And like what's the old saying? Where's the fire? There's no fire with me. I'm gonna drive the speed limit. I want to get to where I'm going. Driving too slow. Oh my gosh, that's a pet peeve of mine. People are driving too slow in front of me. Engaging in negative self-talk. That is a terrible habit. When you're constantly, talking, you having your own personal conversation in your head, and you're just constantly just negatively, oh, I'm so fat, I'm so this, and I'm no, that we got to turn that around. There's nobody perfect. I don't care what it looks like. Beyonce looks like the perfect chick. Kim Kardashian them look like the perfect chick. Trust me, there's nobody perfect. Okay, who's nice to look at? Will Smith is a nice looking man. Idris Elba, nice to look at, but they're not perfect. So that negative talk, we definitely have to combat that. Failing to follow through with things. Okay, that's something that you can overcome. For failing to get an appropriate amount of exercise, too little or too much. Okay, forgetting to take prescribed medication, that's very dangerous. Having poor posture, oh my gosh, that you wind up getting a hump in your back. Okay, having a workaholic tendencies. It's okay to have a good work ethic. It really is, but balance is the key. Balance is the key. If you work hard, make sure you play hard. Incorporate that playing hard. If you're going to work hard, then please play hard equally. All right. Having unprotected or otherwise unsafe sex. We already know it's too many things out there that too many people have contracted, and we've seen even past of and suffered from because of that. Not appreciating all the good things that's in your life. I think that that's something that we all need to practice on a regular basis, having start looking at the good things that's in our lives versus the negative things or the bad things. And that's the same thing with me, although I'm a degree counselor and I know different strategies and stuff, because it's natural and it's a natural behavioral tendency. I have to practice, especially I wake up in the morning, we're trying to have gratitude. I have on my wall, I have different things to look at to be grateful for. It's that just to help people practice with that. Um, Picking the ends of your hair. Oh wow, okay. Putting things off until the last minute. That's something that definitely can be combated. Self-medicating when you need medical assistance. Wow. Slacking off at work. I think a lot of us, I think a lot of us maybe have some coworkers that we know slack off. They slack off at work and they kind of want somebody else to do their job for them while they sit there and get paid for it. So, smacking gum, taking on more than you can handle. A lot of workaholics do that. A lot of high achievers, they do that, taking on more than you can handle. Now if you have a crew of people that work for you, then that's okay, but if it's just you and you alone, balance is the key. Balance is the key. Taking too many over-the-counter painkillers like ibuprofen, acetaminophen, and then throwing temper tantrums. Oh my gosh, they're throwing temper tantrums. I don't know if you all have ever seen an adult throw a temper tantrum, but it ain't pretty. It's not cute, and it's a turnoff. Okay, but it's also something that can be combated. All right, so let me move on to number 4. All right, let me open this up. It says distracting entertainment and technology habits. Okay, these things here. Let's start talking about that. Fun activities to enjoy can be great, but too much of a good thing can become a problem. So, number 1 is allowing yourself to be catfished. Okay, allowing yourself to be catfish. We all know about the movie Catfish. Assuming memes are true. Wow. Behaving passive aggressively, being too competitive, believing everything you see on the internet, canceling plans with your friends at the last minute, considering biased, sensationalized stories to be the same as news, falling asleep with the television on. Wow. Getting obsessed with hobbies, getting pulled into destructive activities online, giving out too much information to contacts that you make online. Wow. Obsessively checking your cell phone, paying for entertainment subscriptions that you do not use, paying for too many TV streaming services, playing video games. I'm sorry, picking on people who are different. Oh my gosh. We see that all the time. And a lot of times, hey, Bishop Lewis, how are you? Good to see you. We see this all the time on social media where people are concentrating on maybe something that's, it's someone that don't look like you, and then they're just commenting rudely or negatively about that. That's a bad habit that needs to be changed. Um, Playing video games excessively, scheduling all of your outings around food, spending too much time on social media, spending too much time surfing the internet, staying indoors too much, substituting online connections for in person relationships, using your cell phone at the dinner table, watching sports excessively, and watching too much television, period. Okay, so again, let me open this up. So this is number 4, some of these bad habits: distracting entertainment and technology habits. I want to go back to the one that says being on your phone while at the dinner table. That is rude, 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 rude. Years ago, way back in the 50s, 60s, before TV and stuff really was big in the households, families sat together and they ate food together, and that's when they sat down and they were able to discuss and talk about their daily plans and stuff. And unfortunately, because as modern times have come along and everything is more digitalized, that personal touch is being it's like going away. People, they do not know how to communicate in person anymore. and we can change that. It's called, again, balance is the key. Balance is the key. Let's move on to number 5. Okay, here we go. Let me open this up. Poor communication and relationship habits. All right. It says there are many potential problem areas when it comes to communication and relationship. And so I'm glad that we're talking about this after the entertainment habits. Okay, so allowing yourself to be manipulated. That's a poor habit. Assuming that people know what you're thinking rather than talking to them and telling them. I tell people all the time, express what's in your head, because we're not in your head. I don't know what you're thinking. So you have to bring what's in your head, you have to bring it out verbally through your mouth. And that's one of the things that's something that can be changed. Being rude or disrespectful to other people. Again, I am a New Yorker. So that is basically the culture, especially in the city area. Hey, Sarah, hi, cousin Sarah, how are you? Uh, I'm from New York. And so that is almost the culture up there, where people are rude and disrespectful. I was so grateful when I moved to the South, because people speak, they don't have to know you. When they see you, they say hello, how are you? And they keep it moving. I have grown accustomed to that. I love the South. I love that, because people are so they're just so just wonderful to be around. But again, I come from up north, where people, they don't speak, they're looking at you like you crazy, and they're rude and they're disrespectful. That's something that should be changed. Not could be, but it should be changed. Okay, being unwilling to accept constructive feedback from other people. That's another thing that can be changed. Believing things a compulsive liar says to you. Eavesdropping on other people's conversations. My gosh, yes, that should be changed. Enunciating words poorly. Again, I live down south now, so there's a southern slang down here, and we're again enunciating words poorly. But I think that's more of a fad now, especially with these young people. It's more of a fad than a speech impediment. So that is something that can and should be changed. All right, failing to honor commitments, failing to make eye contact when talking to other people, interrupting other people when they're speaking. That, a lot of us that are a little bit older, we grew up hearing that. Hearing, don't you speak when you're spoken to. That's the old saying, speak when you're spoken to. So these are some of the bad habits that are under poor communication and relationships habits. Letting people take advantage of you, mumbling or muttering under your breath, promising things that you aren't sure that you can deliver. Those things definitely have to be changed. I'm going to say that again. Making promises that you're not sure that you can deliver. It's best not to say anything at all, rather than making promises that you can't keep. All right, putting up with abusive behaviors from partners, friends, or family members. That's a habit that nobody should hold on to. Putting up with people who bully you or others. That's another habit, because that falls up under the category of abuse. That's another habit that you should get away from. Putting your faith in people who are known to be unreliable. Again, that's behavioral issues. Those things, you have to get away from that, because it hurts. It continues to hurt you, hurt your heart. Okay, speaking at an inappropriate volume, too quiet or too loud. Spreading rumors or gossip, that is a no period. That is a habit that I was watching The View. No, I'm sorry, The Real, with Lonnie Love and Jenny Mai and Garcelle and one other. And Lonnie Love was talking. She was talking about how she used to be the mouth of the South. This is what she said. She confessed this on her show, which just ended, The Real, but they're doing reruns now. She said that she used to spread gossip, whether it was factual or not. She used to spread gossip, and she learned as she got older. She learned that hurt a lot of people by her doing that. So she changed that habit. She changed that. And so instead of spreading gossip, she said, even whether it's factual or not, Now her job is talking about, entertainment news, e-news. But she said on a personal level, she said that's one thing. Hey, Angie, how you doing? She said that's one thing that she learned to get away from is again spreading rumors or gossip about people. And she said that she learned that she just did not want to hurt people in her life. This is what Lonnie said. So she replaced those bad habits with just keeping it to herself. Um, so taking what people say out of context intentionally, that's a bad habit that should be replaced. Talking over people, that's another one that should be replaced. Telling people things others have shared with you in confidence, that's something that you should definitely try to restrain from doing. Okay. Texting otherwise using your phone while talking to someone in person. Again, this new digital lifestyle is replacing so much personal stuff. And when someone is talking with you, you should give them your undivided attention. And if you don't want to talk to that person, then end the conversation and walk away. Okay. Using slang inappropriately and using vocal interference like like that. So they're talking about these different habits that should be changed. And that again, that falls up under poor communication and relationship habits. Okay, let me move this on because my time is about up. My goodness. Okay, let me open this up. Number 6 says bad household and financial habits. Okay, and I think that we've all have experienced this. It says a lot of people have bad habits relating to basic household and financial responsibilities. Being too much of a perfectionist with cleanliness is a bad habit. Buying things that you don't need, carrying credit card debt that's a bad habit. Failing to pay enough attention to being clean is another bad habit. Forgetting to pay your bills on time, that is a terrible habit. Gambling too much, and that's one thing. Let me go back. And it's one thing if you're experiencing financial instability, which we all have, then that's one thing. But if you have the income to do it and you just are neglectful, then that's a habit that needs to be changed. If you have it, but again, I don't know too many people that choose that. Okay, now let's move this along. Again, forgetting to pay your bills on time, gambling too much. Let me see if anybody said gambling too much. There are people that gamble. Um, Leaving clean laundry in the washing machine so long that it starts to smell bad. That's terrible. Oh my gosh. Letting clean laundry pile up without putting it away. Yeah, that's a bad habit. Letting clutter pile up, letting dirty laundry pile up without washing it, letting your insurance lapse. Again, if you're experiencing financial insecurity, that's one thing. But if you have the money, again, like I said, then that's a habit that should be changed. Living above your means, loaning money to people you know will never pay you back, mixing tax filing deadlines, paying full price for everyday items instead of shopping for sales items, racking up overdraft charges. Okay, now there is something that's been going on with these banks where they've been putting bogus overdraft fees. And so that's a whole nother situation. Spending too much money eating in restaurants, writing checks when you don't have enough money in the bank to cover the expenses. Now, all of these things fall up under, and I'm gonna open this up again. It falls up under bad household and financial habits. Now, it's one thing again. One thing if you're experiencing financial security, that's one thing. Okay, so life happens. Life definitely happens. We're at number 7. Let's move this along. Number 7 says school-related bad habits, and I think that that's about it for tonight. A lot of people have bad habits relating to basic house. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me move this on. Students from kindergarten through college and beyond often develop destructive habits. We all know it because we've experienced it growing up. I think all of us have experienced a bully. I hope to God that none of us have been the bully though. Okay, so this is for people who have experienced. And you know what? Let me back up. I'm seeing in the job space there are a lot of adult bullies that are in jobs. For instance, the job that I'm on now, I found out that there was a woman who worked prior before I started working there, and she was an elderly lady. She was brought in because she had some awesome administrative skills, and they brought her in to help out just part-time. And it was she wound up leaving a job, I think a couple of weeks, they said, after she got there, because she was being bullied by some of the younger people that worked there, these millennials, and they bullied her and talked about her so bad that she left. The job wound up losing a quality person because I don't know if they were told, if the higher ups were told about it, but the people in the office setting, they knew that that older woman was being bullied by this young woman, and that's a no-no. So, okay, being disruptive in class or at work, rude to others, breaking rules, cheating, copying, daydreaming, failing to take notes, leaving work on other people, letting other people copy, do your work, or you doing their work, not paying attention, not studying for the things, or not doing what you're supposed to be doing, not turning in your assignments or your work, passing notes and picking on people, skipping when I'm just whatever, I'm coming in late, but and I'm gonna leave early, sleeping through whatever. I've seen people at work out knocked out, and I'm like, and this is not periodically, this is every day. I'm like, wow. And talking, excessively talking when you're supposed to be working. All right, so many behaviors can become bad habits. Many behaviors. Let me move this along. Let me open this up just a little bit. Okay, many behaviors can become bad habits. All right. Behaviors that are fine in moderation can quickly become bad habits if they become too much of a focal area. Most things are fine in moderation, though, of course, anything illegal or potentially harmful to others should be avoided altogether. So while we're reviewing examples of these bad habits, dig a little deeper into related topics and explore some other examples of unethical behaviors. Now, I chose tonight to go over these different categories of bad behaviors. So now, as I move it along the next couple of weeks, we understand that bad habits and bad behavior, they come in categories. Hey, Lorenzo, he said a lot of people don't plan to fail financially. They just fail to plan. Yes, sir. You're right. If you don't plan, if you don't make plans, then you are planning to fail. And whether you that was a foundation with growing up or not, you're never too old to learn or to restructure your patterns. You're exactly right, Lorenzo. As long as you have breath in your body, you will always be learning something. And so the key thing is to learn. And so Lorenzo is absolutely right. I want to end this tonight with this quote, and it's a takeaway. Let me open this up. It says the truth is you don't break a bad habit, you replace it with a good one. And this is by Mr. Dennis Waitley. The truth is we don't break bad habits, we just replace them with good ones. And this quote is by Mr. Dennis Waitley. All right, so my time is up. I want to thank you all for being a part of Counsel of the Day with Shanrae. I have my new nights, Sunday and Mondays, due to my work schedule. If there is a past, I'm sorry, if there's a past Counsel Day with Shanrae series that you've missed, or you just want to rewatch, you can go to my YouTube channel at Shanrae Price, like, share, subscribe, and then select the past series that you want to watch. All righty then. I am a professional one-on-one counselor. So if you're interested in professional one-on-one counseling services, feel free to contact me via my Facebook Messenger at Shanrae Price, or via my email at shanraeprice@gmail.com. I am a lifestyle strategist, and my aim is to aid you in your overall life goals and dreams. All right, and thank you so much for participating in my Counsel Today with Shanrae, August 2020. I will see you all on this coming Sunday and Monday. That will be week 3. This time is going by so quickly. You all have a wonderful week. Again, this month I'm talking about bad habits and how we can combat them and replace them with better ones. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Thank you again for participating tonight. Have a blessed week. Remember, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. See you all this coming Sunday night. Good night. Bye. I'm going to end this with Andy Stanley, okay? Here we go.
Everybody, welcome to Your Move, where we help you make better decisions and live with fewer regrets. I'm Andy Stanley, and I'll be your guide. And today we're talking about the stories we tell ourselves about ourselves, our narratives. Remember your high school narrative? My parents are such idiots. School's such a waste of time. And then you grew up and you realize my parents aren't idiots, and school was definitely not a waste of time. But as adults, we tell ourselves similar things. They don't care, it doesn't matter, it won't make any difference. Or how about this one? I don't do exercise, right? The problem with these narratives is that they become excuses and they set us up to become our own worst enemies. So let's stop with all the false narratives, and today I'll tell you how right here on Your Move. Isn't it strange? I don't know if you ever think about this, but because I have to talk all the time, I have to think of things people aren't thinking about so I can make you think about it. So I'll have something to talk about. That's kind of my life, basically. But isn't it strange how we talk to ourselves? Because we all do this, right? We have conversations with ourselves. It's like there's two of us in there, sometimes three. If you have four, I don't really want to meet you. But anyway, these conversations that we have with ourselves, eventually we get down to this really, really big question that we all wrestle with. And this question is why? And here's what we do. Something happens and we think, why did that happen? Then we go to work trying to figure out why it happened. And why did this happen? Why did that happen? Why did this happen rather than that? And this is what I thought would happen, but this happened. And you can't help it. This is so human nature. We have this extraordinary habit, this inclination to impose a reason on randomness. We impose a reason on it. Something happens that doesn't make sense, and our minds just go to work trying to make sense out of randomness. And what we do is we create a narrative. We create our own narrative to make sense of things, right? We create a narrative to make sense of things. In fact, the worse the incident and the more personal the incident, the harder you work and the harder I work to make sense out of that. Because what's undeniable, regardless of your worldview, what's undeniable is that we create and often abide by our self-imposed narratives, whether they are accurate or not, whether they reflect reality or not. And this can be a problem. This can be a problem. In fact, this can lead you, as you have already experienced in your life. This isn't going to be new. I'm just going to put words around something you've already experienced. This can lead you to become your own worst enemy. So today we are in part 2 of our series. If you were here last time, you already know this, how not to be your own worst enemy. Now,